7,641 islands. Most have never been named on any map. Many have never known the imprint of a human foot. The Philippines rose from the collision of three tectonic plates, the Eurasian, the Philippine Sea, and the Pacific. The ocean floor was crushed, subducted, and thrust upward into volcanoes, into islands, into life. Millions of years of isolation transformed each island into its own evolutionary laboratory. Nature here experiments freely, unburdened by the influence of any continent. Gaiadox takes you to the most overlooked archipelago in Southeast Asia, where the planet's strangest creatures whisper their stories of survival. The Philippines sits at the heart of the Coral Triangle, the most biologically diverse marine region on Earth. More than 15,000 plant species exist here, nearly half found nowhere else on the planet. "20 tropical cyclones sweep through each year. Volcanoes stir along the Ring of Fire. Tsunamis, landslides, droughts, catastrophe stacked upon catastrophe without pause. Such conditions should have erased life entirely. Instead, they forced evolution to accelerate. The Philippines became one of 17 megadiverse nations, where endemic species exceed every prediction. From the pitch-black rainforest canopy to luminous coral reefs beneath the sea, every layer of this landscape conceals a master of survival, a creature that has paid millions of years of evolutionary debt to endure. The central question is singular. When nature is imprisoned on isolated islands for millions of years, what emerges? The answer lies with four creatures most of the world has never heard of. The story begins at the highest point, the crown of the tropical rainforest, where a pair of enormous wings silently tears through the darkness. Sierra Madre, the longest stretch of primary rainforest in the Philippines, runs along the spine of Luzon. Beneath the canopy, stacked 3 and 4 layers deep, daylight survives only as faint, trembling streaks on the forest floor. A dark shape cuts through the gloom between the canopy leaves. A wingspan exceeding 6 feet, nearly the height of a grown adult. The Philippine eagle, apex predator of Asia's most isolated forests. Weighing between 9 and 18 pounds, it is not the largest raptor alive. Its true power resides in its talons, weapons honed through millions of years of evolution, capable of shattering prey bones in an instant. Pithecophagua jefferi, the monkey eater. Indigenous communities gave it a name even more fearsome, the monkey-eating eagle. That name has followed it for centuries, though the truth is far more complex than legend suggests. The national bird of the Philippines, the wild emblem of an entire archipelago, Blue-grey eyes, a crest of feathers rising sharply from the crown, an image of authority that the Philippine Eagle Foundation guards with unwavering devotion. Vision several times sharper than a human's, acute enough to detect the slightest movement within layers of decaying leaves. Every detail of the Philippine eagle's body serves a single purpose: killing in dark forests. Its primary prey is not the monkey. 90% of its actual diet belongs to a creature few would suspect, the colugo, or Philippine flying lemur, a silent glider drifting between the canopy trees. Cynocephalus volans. Despite the name flying lemur, it does not fly. A vast membrane of skin, the patagium stretches from neck to tail, tip, transforming its body into a living parachute. The widest gliding membrane of any mammal. Endemic to the Philippines. Nocturnal, feeding on young leaves, flowers, and fruit high in the canopy. The colugo spends its entire life above ground, rarely touching the forest floor. Its territory is the sky between the treetops. The pursuit unfolds in total silence. A dark shape plunges from the upper canopy, diving at speeds that send air hissing through flight feathers. The colugo reacts, membrane snapping open, body veering. Velocity, instinct, everything converges on the final moment of impact. Within seconds, the outcome is decided. The law of the Philippine canopy has remained unchanged for millions of years. The one that reacts a fraction of a second, faster lives. The one that hesitates becomes energy for the next generation. Each breeding pair requires between 17,000 and 32,000 acres of primary forest, the area of a small city, simply to sustain a single family. Roughly 400 breeding pairs remain in the wild, scattered across Mindanao, Luzon, and eastern Visayas. On Leyte, the species has already gone locally extinct, a warning to the rest. At the apex of the food chain, the Philippine eagle exists as a barometer of tropical rainforest health. When the creature at the top collapses, every tier beneath it trembles. The eagle reigns during daylight. When darkness engulfs the canopy, another pair of eyes opens, each eyeball larger than the brain that houses it. The stage of survival passes to the smallest player. Weighing less than 4.5 ounces, lighter than an apple, the Philippine tarsier, one of the smallest primates on the planet, fits entirely within the palm of a child's hand. Eyes that occupy nearly 2/3 of its face, each eyeball larger than the brain that controls it, a proportion that is no accident, but an evolutionary weapon forged for a world without light. The tarsier's retina gathers light at many times the capacity of human eyes, turning pitch darkness into pale twilight. Where humans see only shadow, the tarsier discerns every branch, every prey item stirring in the leaf litter. A rigid neck, incapable of rotation evolution, answered with a radical solution. The entire head rotates 180 degrees, a living radar in the nocturnal forest, scanning every direction without the body moving at all. "45 million years ago, the tarsier diverged from the evolutionary branch of every other primate. From the Eocene, when dinosaurs had just vanished, it took its own path and never looked back." The only primate that is entirely carnivorous. Crickets, beetles, lizards, snakes, the nocturnal hunter's menu spares nothing that fits within its jaws. From a branch, the tarsier launches itself through open air, seizing prey with staggering precision, calculating every millisecond, reflexes so fast the naked eye cannot follow. Two opposing evolutionary strategies coexisting within the same forest. The eagle chose supreme force, dominating through size. The tarsier chose to vanish, too small for predators to notice. The same question of survival, two opposite answers. The rainforests of the Philippines are complex enough for both solutions to function, at least until now. The tarsier regulates insect populations within the forest ecosystem, a quiet role that few recognize. Until the tarsier disappears, insects surge, and the entire canopy falls out of balance. The tarsier itself is also prey. The Philippine barn owl stalks from above. Snakes slither along branches. Monitor lizards probe every tree hollow. No creature in the tropical night is truly safe. The IUCN lists the species as near threatened. Deforestation shrinks its habitat. The illegal pet trade pulls thousands of individuals from the wild each year. The Wildlife Protection Act, RA 9147, has yet to stem the tide. When captured as pets, tarsiers destroy themselves, slamming their heads against cage walls, biting their own bodies. A level of stress seldom documented in any primate species ever studied. A living gauge of Philippine rainforest health. In the Mount Matutum protected area, the tarsier population has declined by 50%. When the smallest creature vanishes, it is a death sentence for the entire ecosystem. From the rainforest canopy, the story shifts downward to the coast, where land dissolves into water, and the boundary between two worlds blurs in salt-laden mud. Philippine mangrove forests stretch along 36,000 miles of coastline, a fragile buffer between the parched world above and the boundless ocean beyond. Hundreds of thousands of hectares of mangroves encircle the archipelago. Every trunk, every root, suspended above the waterline, serves as an underwater apartment complex, sheltering thousands of juvenile fish species during their earliest months of life. Freshwater from rivers merges with saltwater from the sea, creating nutrient-rich brackish water, the ideal environment for microorganisms, shrimp, crabs, and fish larvae to thrive in explosive abundance. Each hectare of mangrove forest absorbs roughly 6.5 tons of carbon dioxide per year, 3 to 5 times the rate of tropical rainforest on land. A silent lung that the world rarely acknowledges. Aurora, one of the last stretches of pristine mangrove forest remaining on the archipelago, a labyrinth of channels, roots weaving in every direction, murky water drifting slowly through a green-shadowed gloom. Beneath that canopy of roots, life is unnervingly still. No birdsong, no hum of insects, only the soft lap of water against tree trunks, a suspicious silence in waters that belong to something. What rules the place where forest meets sea? The answer lies just below the murky surface, and has lain there for millions of years, more patient than time itself. The saltwater crocodile, Crocodilus porosus, the largest living reptile on the planet. The asteroid that erased the dinosaurs, the ice ages that froze the continents. This species survived them all. Reaching lengths of 23 feet and weighing over a ton, a body plan virtually unchanged from its ancestors of 80 million years ago, proof that certain evolutionary designs require no further refinement. Motionless, patience, in its absolute form, it can lie still for hours, even days, waiting for prey to enter striking range. Every moment of stillness is an investment in a single lethal strike. The moment of eruption lasts a fraction of a second. Over a ton of muscle explodes from the water, jaws clamping down on the target. Nothing escapes that grip once it has closed. During breeding season, the female builds a nest from decomposing leaves and mud. 90 days of incubation nest temperature determines the sex of hatchlings. Warmer produces males, cooler produces females. Nature calibrates through heat alone. When eggs hatch, the mother carries each newborn in her jaws. The same weapon, capable of 3,700 psi, becomes impossibly gentle, the thinnest line between destruction and protection. The greatest challenge, paradoxically, comes not from nature. Sharing space with over 100 million people on the most densely populated archipelago in Southeast Asia, a problem that 80 million years of evolution never prepared it for. From the mangrove fringe, channels empty into open sea. Murky water transitions to turquoise. Sand replaces tangled roots. The crocodile's world ends, another begins. The Verde Island Passage. In 2005, marine biologists Kent Carpenter and Victor Springer published a landmark finding. This is the site of the highest concentration of marine biodiversity on the planet. "300 species of coral, more than 800 species of reef fish, across an area smaller than many mid-sized cities. Every square inch of this seabed lives, breathes, and competes." If you are exploring the wild Philippines with Gaia Docs, hit subscribe so you do not miss the rest of this story. The next creature will overturn everything you think you know about power. From the most brutal ruler, the ocean reveals a creature of staggering contrast, 10 times the size of the saltwater crocodile, yet bearing no fangs and no claws whatsoever. An immense silhouette glides through the waters of the Verde Island Passage, unhurried, regal, like an island adrift. The whale shark, Rhincodon typus, the largest fish in the ocean. Reaching 40 feet in length and weighing up to 20 tons, a scale that reduces every other creature in these waters to insignificance, including the saltwater crocodile, the undisputed ruler mere minutes ago. A skeleton composed primarily of cartilage, surprisingly light for something so immense. A structure engineered by the ocean for a single purpose, crossing continents while expending the least energy possible. The complete opposite of the crocodile, both massive, both ancient. One chose brutality, the other chose gentleness. Two philosophies of survival at polar extremes, both enduring across millions of years. A companion of the ocean since before the continents separated, the whale shark is a living witness to an era when seas were intact, before plastic waste, before trawl nets. A mouth stretching to nearly 5 feet wide, large enough to engulf an adult human. Inside, no fangs, no crushing plates, only thousands of tiny teeth arranged into the most sophisticated biological filter in the ocean. A filtration system that allows the whale shark to process millions of gallons of water each day, retaining plankton, fish eggs, and small shrimp. No speed required, no fangs. Only pure distilled patience, filter, filter. The Global Whale Shark Identification Program uses precisely those patterns to track individual animals, technology once thought exclusive to humans, now applied to the largest creature in the sea. Each year, hundreds of whale sharks converge on Philippine waters where plankton blooms follow the monsoon rains. The gathering occurs in silence, without signals, without calls, guided only by migratory instinct encoded millions of years ago. The silhouette of a whale shark gliding beneath sunlit water, a beauty the ocean offers free of charge, if only humans choose not to destroy it. The eagle, the crocodile, the whale shark, three creatures across three layers of landscape, all facing the same single enemy. That enemy carries no fangs and no claws. It brings chainsaws, trawl nets, smokestacks, and plastic bags. Things that 80 million years of evolution prepared no species to withstand. Philippine forests. At the 20th century's dawn, 70% of the archipelago was cloaked in green. Today, 23% remains. Nearly 50,000 acres vanish each year, faster than any tree can regrow. Beneath the surface, 40 to 50% of coral reefs have bleached across many regions. Only 5% of Philippine reefs are in excellent condition. White skeletal frameworks stretch across the seabed, the silent graveyard of the ocean. $2.7 million tons of plastic pour into Philippine seas each year, ranking the nation among the world's top ocean polluters. Every bag drifting offshore is a death sentence for creatures that cannot tell food from refuse. "20 cyclones each year, super typhoons, growing stronger and more frequent. Climate change does not create storms. It transforms storms into catastrophes. "60% of the Philippine population lives along the coast, directly dependent on forest and marine resources. When mangroves die, when coral bleaches, the livelihoods of tens of millions collapse in tandem. Fish yields have dropped 50 to 80% in dead coral reef zones. The food chain fractures from the bottom fish vanish. Fishermen are left with nothing. Coastal communities fall into deadlock. Four species, four ecosystems, one shared verdict. Deforestation drives the eagle and the tarsier into dead ends. Pollution strangles the whale shark and the coral. Territorial conflict backs the crocodile into a corner. Each solution took millions of years to perfect. Each solution now faces elimination within a single generation, this generation. The evolutionary laboratory that 7,000 isolated islands spent tens of millions of years constructing is being dismantled faster than any natural catastrophe ever could. Coral bleaching beneath the seabed, rainforest canopy thinning above. Between those two layers, four extraordinary creatures are quietly counting down, unaware of what the final number will be. "7,641 islands still shimmer across the Pacific. The question is no longer whether life can survive on isolated islands, but whether it will be permitted to." Gaia Docs, where nature tells its story through the fact of its existence. If the wild Philippines changed how you see the world, Share this video. Every share is one more time this story gets told. Subscribe to join Gaia Docs on the next island. 7,000 islands, each one a story yet to be told.